sweet little snoring piglet. How are you? All right. So Damar is talking about feeling unsafe after the drawing that Kanaya did of killing him in the big puddle where he had no hands. And Kanaya is feeling tired of going over this stuff. And what else, Kanaya? Okay. What's up, Damar?
I want to draw and did he cut off my hands?
I think that's a fair question. She said no, she didn't cut off the hand, she just didn't give you any. You didn't have any power in the artwork. But you did have an face with your mouth. Do you have any more questions, being that you were the one being depicted, being murdered?
Was there a house in the background?
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I'm doing the front picture, but I didn't remember the shadow part.
Oh, makes sense.
Well, I was wondering because you kill it in the front. Why were you trying to kill me? Was in the picture in the front yard, like because you wanted to be secret, not like so other people can see it.
I don't put that much thought into that picture.
What was the thinking? Because you had it by water, you had it by a house that wasn't our house. It was during the daylight. You had the sun drawn that could have been the moon, but you added those details.
That's how most of my drawings were like by water in the house and like the sun in the corner.
I've not seen any drawings of you with houses, except for the one where you, as you were saying anyway, have pushed your last friend group's top girl out of her own clubhouse in her backyard. But it also does look like someone's buried underneath of the house that you're in with somebody else. So really hard to say about that one. But no, this is your only house drawing, and I've also not seen you add water. So that was another detail that stood out. Do you have any more questions, Tamar? Because you guys had been squabbling like siblings at times, but you also tend to be pretty close. So it's a little surprising she would do that to you.
Is there any more drawings you did of hurting some people?
No, that's also not your business.
I'm just asking.
Well, it's not your business, so you shouldn't be asking. If that's a question for like mom or therapist, that's not you. Because you have your own stuff that you should be working with instead of worrying about me.
Right now we're having a family meeting, Kanaya.
Yes, but I still don't think can ask like if there's any other pictures of me hurting people if it's not his place, if he has his stuff to work on.
You're also in my business too.
Well, you don't have a lot of business right now. Both of them are me.
Do you think he could be wondering if he's in more of your artwork where you're hurting him in some way?
No, there's only that one.
Yeah, but how would he know that? And how would any of us know that? When most of the things that you say are lies that you years later tell us are something else.
You look through my journals.
Yes, you've put them in the comments area, art closet. When you put things in places to find, people generally find them. But that was a fair question. Is there anything else you have drawn where you're hurting people? Or artwork or anything like that? Plans?
No.
All right. You don't think pushing someone out of a clubhouse is something that could hurt someone?
Well, she tried to push me out of the clubhouse, so she didn't care why I was hurt. So.
She physically pushed you out of a clubhouse?
We didn't make the clubhouse. I was just pushing her out the front door.
Okay, because you said they did or they're going to make one in her backyard, right? And that's what your reference was to? In the clubhouse you drew? Where it's you and somebody else, and then somebody's underneath of it, underneath the house. So that would be you creating an artwork where someone's getting hurt.
I have a question for that artwork.
What is it, Amir?
Did you, also she said she was pushing someone out first, did she already push someone out and then she was going to push another person?
That's a good question for the artist because we don't have a way of knowing. Good night. Can you scoot this way so I can see both? Thank you. Say
No.
you could only push the one person out. And I think when you told me about it, we looked at it and the character that you said was you was the bigger person in size and they were smiling. And the other person was on like a bunk bed scenario and you had pushed Piper out of her own backyard clubhouse. Or treehouse. So that's the smaller thing that we're referencing. So even just there, you didn't tell the truth about the drawings. Do you have any other ones, Kanaya?
No.
Okay. Well, artwork's a good way to express yourself either way. I told you the one in your room I would never get into, but you put stuff in the common area, and people will find it. So you had made the shiv, you had made the artwork around the same time period, which we spoke earlier about. You tried to say was last year. You later came about it being this year. So you're 11 years old. Does that come across as a plan when you have a tool or a weapon you've made and you've hidden it? And then you have an artwork depicting what you'd like to do when you're angry? Does that constitute as a plan? Okay, so if you did mean to kill somebody or you had a plan, to kill somebody, what would that look like for you if it's not creating a tool as a weapon and drawing it out physically? Then what else would one expect from you if you had a plan?
No, I don't have a plan.
All right, but if you did.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, you say that, but if you did, what would it be? So we could know what to expect. If you're saying having a weapon that you've made yourself and hidden in your bedroom, around the same time that you made an artwork of you murdering your brother, if that itself is not a plan to you, then what is considered a plan of intention to harm someone, Kanaya? Well, I'm asking you. Yes, think about it. I recall your therapist saying, I don't know isn't an answer because you are so smart. So let's get to it. Earlier, you started crying during reading because you didn't like that I'd asked you to read. It made you so angry that you had to do something you didn't want to do, just like in school. So I don't think you probably write out in words that you had a plan, right? Because you don't like to write either. So making a tool is not a plan to you. Writing a picture, drawing a picture of what you'd like to do is not considered a plan to you. So am I to expect you to walk up to me and say, Mom, I would like to kill Damar? Or how would I know that you were serious and had a plan? Yes, use your words, dear.
I wouldn't have anything.
What do you mean?
Like, I wouldn't have a plan written out. I wouldn't, like, have anything.
Anything
Like,
to...
it would just be in my head.
Okay, there'd be no way to know or catch you before you did it.
Well, I'm not gonna do it, so I don't know.
Yeah, you did tell us about 2 or 3 hours ago that we probably didn't have anything to worry about because you didn't have access to any tools to harm us with. And you also said you spared our lives because you don't know where else you would live or what the consequences would be by way of police after you killed us. Am I missing anything? No, that's everything. That's all the main parts? Am I missing anything else you'd like to add? Like, we're here for it. It's about Damar and I that you would like to end, so I think it's fair that we have this discussion, right?
What am I gonna do? I was just mad.
Yes, but you've already said that if you wanted to do it, you wouldn't give any sign or have a plan written out. You would just do it. Earlier today, you said that you would already have done it if you had access to a tool like a knife and somewhere else to live. Do you see how this might come off as alarming to the people you're speaking to who have to share a house with you? Yes or no? Be truthful.
Yes.
Okay, do you understand why it would be alarming to other people?
Yes.
And why is that?
Because you guys don't believe me and I don't want to harm you, but I don't, so.
Okay, well, that's not what you've said this entire day. You said that we're probably safe because essentially you don't have any tools to harm us with. All the knives and scissors are always taken away. They're always hidden and locked up.
The only reason I said probably is because feeling unsafe in your house is not good. That's not safe. That's why I said probably, because you guys are already safe. Because you're scared.
We're safe because we're scared. Okay.
Because you guys aren't safe, you're being scared. Living in a house with someone. That's not safe. That's why I said probably.
Yes, but why do you keep having unsafe behaviors towards others? Why are we having this discussion then if we're entirely safe, Ganaya? And why earlier would you say that you would spare our lives only because you really couldn't do anything to us without getting in trouble? Do you still feel that way, like in this minute? In this moment, do you feel that if there were no consequences, you would like to do things to the people in this room? And what about earlier today? You were there for that, right, Damar? Yeah. That doesn't make sense, right, Damar? Okay. I want to make sure I'm not having a bias here, because a lot of this stuff lately has just been like from a movie or something and not feeling so real. But yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. The two different things you said in the past few hours. And observing you, I can tell that you're just annoyed by this whole thing and want it to be over. And I wish you were able to understand other people and why that isn't going to be the way it goes. What you said earlier was if you had access to a tool to harm people, you would use it. What you said last night was you wished everyone else could disappear so that you could do what you wanted and go steal things as you wanted. Wouldn't be stealing then because nobody else existed but you. You want what you want and you want it now. I can understand that sometimes people would seem to be in the way of that. But can you understand how the past 24 hours alone of talking has been a little alarming?
Yeah.
Why are you shrugging? Say. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Earlier you were concerned about and cried about not wanting to go to inpatient. So do you think that this conversation affects you most in the sense that you could potentially end up going to that place?
I probably am going to that place.
But that's not what I asked you. Is that your biggest takeaway from this? Is that you're frustrated you might end up going somewhere for a while to get treatment? Huh?
No.
Then?
My biggest intake is that you guys don't love me.
Huh?
I said that you guys don't love me. That's why I'm getting from this.
Well, if you're not safe, it would be wise to get you treatment so that we all can feel safe together. Does that make sense to you? So what do you suggest we do, Kanaya? Tomorrow we'll figure it out in the morning, kind of going forward what to do to get help for the family. But in the meantime, how about you, Dimar? What do you suggest? Anything?
I was just saying, if she has to go inpatient, like, we should just do that so she gets help.
That is a good suggestion. There is a list of resources. Because the place that I took you last time, I felt like it was kind of a joke. How they were like, "Oh, you just don't know breathing exercises," and they sent us home. So I feel like that's not quite enough.
Is there like any what was it? What was I trying to say? Like, well, maybe she can go to one of those camps.
Well, you guys are both going to the summer camp you like. Or what do you mean? Like the boot camp thing you had heard about?
I'm just like a camp that it has more strict rules.
Yeah, I think inpatient's kind of like that, where they have people keeping an eye and talking to the kids and stuff to engage what's happening. And Kanaya, do you recall the incident you were talking about earlier? in July that happened that made you frustrated with Damar enough to draw a picture about murdering him? Was something with a charger? You kind of just blurted out July like it was maybe a random month as well. Is that the case? Sorry?
I said no.
Okay, so July has some relevance to you for when things started. I did not find the shiv until maybe 3 months ago or so. Yeah. March, April, May, yeah. So I would say March probably. How about you? March you is when I found the shiv, right? And then you went to Rogers. And what did you say you made that for? What's that, Kanaya?
I didn't make it fun.
And what was it for then?
For breaking things.
Okay, because you also told me one time it was for yourself, which is the same thing you told Miss Montner, that you wanted to stab yourself in the heart and the head, and that was one of your plans when you did want to visit the ER in the past. So is it for Damar? Is it for me? Is it for you? You also told me you've never carved into those things. So I'm even more confused now. You said you had no memory or recollection of it.
Can I turn the heat on?
No, the whole building is off since it's nice weather. So, Kanaya, I had asked you a question.
Okay, what the shit was for breaking things?
Yes, so the shiv was not for breaking things. You've changed the story several times. What was it for?
For me.
It's for you, yeah. Was it also for Damar?
No.
Was it for Penelope?
No.
Was it for me?
No.
Who was it for? That's one of the things you said. Who else?
That's me.
So how do you get from creating a shiv out of a highlighter and a mirror you broke and hiding it in your room by some toys under a heater to drawing a picture of murdering your brother where he has no hands and a giant opening in the center with streams of blood coming down, not just a hole, but you have lines for streams of blood. So how did you plan to do that? You're holding a pretty big sharp item in your artwork.
They were at different times. They were at different times.
Still, when would you have, like, what was this item then if it wasn't your shiv?
It was a knife.
Okay, a knife from where?
Like just a regular knife for like the kitchen.
Well, we don't have knives because, really, frankly, both of you. But we only have that one that's jaggedy. It's a different shape because yours was pointy and sharp, right? This one has no point. It could barely open plastic. So help us understand.
There were different times.
I hear you, but what would the tool have been? Because we haven't had knives in our place in a long time. They've been locked up for a long time.
Well, I wasn't gonna actually do it, so I wasn't gonna draw like a thing, blue thing, like the only thing that I could think of that if I was actually gonna do it, then I would have brought like a pair of scissors home from school.
In the past, when you said, I would do this thing if it was this thing, none of those things have panned out. They've just been side roads. So what would you actually do? In the mind of Kanaya, if she wanted to kill one of us, what would she actually do? Let's pause and think for a minute, Kanaya. Because I have some thoughts and some things that I look out for with you when you're around me. And some things I definitely don't trust. But let's hear what your plan would be. If you were going to kill your mom, how would you kill me? Say, my dear girl.
I don't know.
Well, you've tried poison. You've burnt my skin on my arm on purpose. Is there anything I'm missing? You've tried to feed me rotten food, but I've declined. What else? So what would you actually do? Oh, you tried to poison us in the elevator too with that spray, blinding spray, pepper spray. Yeah. But what else would you do? Would it be chemically related or no? Then tell me.
I don't know.
Kanaya, you had a whole journal writing about how much you hate me. I'm sure you've had some thoughts.
No, I haven't.
And how about your brother, aside from the stabbing him to death? What's your plan for killing your brother?
What's it?
What's it?
Just a stab.
You would stab him? And where would you stab him on his body?
His shoulder.
On his shoulder? And why is that? You guys have had like those nice anatomy classes at this fancy school district. Is there something in the shoulder?
No.
Because you pay attention to those. You know about the blood types and all these different things. Even though you pretend that you don't hear or notice or comprehend most things in school, you've held on to that stuff. So is there something in the shoulder? I'm always impressed by you with your med knowledge. Is there anything else you would do to him?
No.
You know, when he gets all the attention and you feel frustrated, or he's accusing you of something that he might have done himself, and you get into that place of being angry, what do you think about doing to him? This is not the same conversation we had earlier.
I just received his spirit then.
Does it feel different to have the conversation with the person in the same room that you talked about threatening and harming? It doesn't feel any different.
No.
So being in the same room with your younger brother and him hearing directly from you how you would murder him and how you thought about it, drawn pictures, and had these ideas, plans, that doesn't feel different than when we spoke privately about it.
It does.
Okay, and why is that?
Because he's right here.
That is the obvious. Yes, he is here. And so why is that different for you? Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm assuming. It's wrong to assume.
Because he's like listening to everything I say. I knew he had already found out, but and now he's actually like anything I'm gonna say.
Does it give you a thought or a feeling or anything like that? I mean, it is obvious that he is here with us, yes.
No.
Oh, then why is it different?
Because he's sitting here and he's listening to like words.
Sure. So, because you're your younger brother, do you imagine that your role should be something different for him than planning of killing him when you're frustrated? Is that why it feels different? Or is it something else?
Yeah, that's why it feels different.
Do you feel like... I mean, I shouldn't assume anything, can I? Why don't you tell me what you feel?
I don't have feelings.
You do, because something changed in the dynamic, right? You said so yourself. So what is it, dear?
I don't have feelings.
You don't have any feelings. Is that what you're saying?
I said I don't have feelings right now.
All right. Maybe we can come back to that. Damar, do you understand what I'm asking? Yeah. And how do you feel as the little brother, having your sister who's older than you and meant to protect you, drawing images like that and talking about these things openly?
Unsafe. Like she might like trick me into hurting me.
Why would she trick you? Does she trick a lot?
You know, like she might lie and say something like that and then hurt me.
Say something like what? Like, give me an example of something like this has happened before.
I'm just like what? Like come here, I have something to show you and then hurt me, or we're gonna take the recycling out and when we do this and then hurt you. Like something like that.
Something like that. So, kind of being one-on-one or around her without supervision. Okay. I could see that. You always have to take the recycling out because she mixes our trash with our recycling, and then our neighbors get mad about that when we put a bag in. So you have to sort the recycling yourself. together. So I could see how that's a one-on-one situation for you. Kanaya, do you think Tamara has anything to worry about with you being tricky like that?
No.
Because you are someone who does a lot of tricks, right? You enjoy a good trick. You get that like half smile on your face and your eyes light up when you trick someone into something. We've talked about that before. It's something that's unique with your brain. So I think tonight, let's have you guys sleep in different rooms. Kanaya, you'll be in your bedroom. Tamara, you'll be out here. I need you guys to leave the cameras alone. I'll take the remote with me. I can't have you sleep in my bedroom either because you did break in.
I don't want to sleep out here.
Why? You like sleeping on sofa. Why? You want the lock in your room to protect you?
Oh no, I just going down for a walk in the room.
Okay, you were just telling me you're afraid of being alone with Kanaya though, right?
Yeah, I want to be in the room. She can be out here.
Oh. Yeah, but the thing is that she can make anything into a tool tomorrow. Right? Anything can harm someone if it's broken.
I want to sleep out here.
Roll that thing out. Or sleep on this feather bed. You were just asking earlier if you could sleep out here because you didn't want to sleep with her. You did earlier. You asked yesterday about it too, remember? And then it took... No, this was different. This was Kanaya because we talked about Kanaya yesterday. And we thought the therapist would let us talk about that today and it didn't happen. So now here we are navigating it. You can sleep together in your bedroom then, in your own beds, if you're comfortable with that. Okay, so the scared must not be so bad. Not like terrified of her versus a lumpy couch. What is the tears for?
And if she hurts me, she's gonna have a punishment for doing that.
What do you mean punishment for doing that?
Like if she she can't stab me. Then never mind. Never mind.
Do you mean like how she does something to you and then someone finds out and then you get punished by her as well?
I was gonna say, like, if she hurts somebody, she's gonna have a punishment.
Oh, okay, like her own punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she stabs somebody, she's definitely gonna go to the ER, right?
What do you mean going to the ER?
Like the hospital. To check her in.
Oh.
But I don't want Kanai to be out here in the big open because a lot of things she could turn into tools. And that's what her history has been, is turning things into violent weapons. And unfortunately, with the way things have been, I can't really share a room with either of you because you have both lied from me, stolen from me, and done things to me. So I need my lock on my door to sleep. So you need to think before you listen to other people, okay, Tamara? I also recently, Kanaya found out, this is separate, but I had forgotten before. When did you have your brother out on the street asking for money and then telling him that you would give him double the money if he begged people for money?
You never did that. You never were out on the streets begging for money. I never said I was gonna give you money.
No, that was at a magic market. When you asked me to ask people for like money.
I asked you if you had $1 and then you asked someone.
No, you told me to go ask people for money.
Well, did that happen at Metro Market, guys?
Yep.
Tell people to ask him for money on the street and that you told your brother you'd give him double what he gets back?
No, I didn't say I would give him double what he gets back.
But you did tell him to go ask for money.
I did it too.
You did tell me to go ask for money.
Okay, so you're both on the street asking people for money?
No, it was in Metro Market.
Oh, inside of the store?
Yes.
But both of you?
No, it was only me. It was for asking the money.
No, I asked you.
Okay, why were
One
you...
time.
Oh, okay, well, pause. Damar, had you done this several times then?
Mm-hmm.
You did it several times?
Yes, I did this several times.
Oh,
When
okay.
she would go tell me to ask for money so I can buy something.
Wow, I didn't know that. I learned something literally every day. All right, and then you, Kanaya. You were also in there, you just said, begging people for money. Why? When I send you, I give you my credit card. And otherwise, you guys have just stolen money from me nonstop, my purse, cash. So why are you also begging people on the streets and in the Metro Market? You have food at school. You have food at home. When we're home, you guys are almost nonstop eating. So why do you need to beg people for money? Kanaya.
We can buy anything you want.
So you can buy anything you want?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? What do you buy?
Candy.
And what stuff?
My chip is like that.
You already robbed me $40 yourself, Kanaya, from last year when I went to Mother's Day float tank. And you thought I wouldn't notice and then said it was from your boyfriend. From $2 that you didn't have in your locker, by the way. And Damara, you also robbed my purse $40 more recently, and that entirely went on chips because you both helped me track up how much you spent when you stole from me. So what else do you guys need money for? You don't have any bills. Everything you want is bought for you. You're in activities. What more could you want? No, really, tell me. What more?
No, it was just we went candy.
You wanted candy, so you went to ask strangers in a grocery store for money?
Well, Kanaya never asked. She was just telling me to.
And you're 10 and 11. Kanaya, why would you tell your little brother to beg people for money in a grocery store? Because this is reminding me of how your friend Phoenix dropped her money on the street and you demanded she leave it. And then Damar went by and swooped and picked it up. You kind of sound like you're running the plan here. So what's going on with this money situation? And also, why does anybody listen to you? You're 11 years old. Help me understand.